Hello friends, what I want to talk about today is an acceptance of even the concept of death in our lives. With the COVID pandemic, it is like all of us have come face to face with the mortality of human life. With the structures that give us mental safety, the structures of governments, the structures of hospitals, the structures of the existing norm, where we have a sense of safety in our mind. We'll be all right, and our loved ones will be all right. And as the circumstances which were faced by even the world over at different times, and in India in recent times, it has brought us face to face with the mortality of human life and even the loss of control that we seem to have, and leading to a sense of powerlessness, feeling lost, feeling disconnected. So we can go a little bit deeper into these concepts of safety, because as we can see that they are so fragile that when something happens to the contrary, we are shaken out of them and we are very moved and we are stressed. Is it the outside which produces the fear, or it is the inside which is processing the outside and leading to conclusions in the mind which leads to fear? Is there anything to fear? If we understand that death is a given and the only uncertainty is the time, and it seems that everyone wants to live to the longest possible time, death is seen as a failure. We want our loved ones to live, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's an observation that as a generality, it's thought of as normal to cling to life. Of course, there are people who do not wish to live and they are in despair. That is also coming from their mental emotional structures. So just looking deeply at something that we all seem to be going towards and yet wanting to run away from, escape from. Is death really a failure? So if we go by the understanding which regression science offers, or the studies that the life between life time offers us, we would know that the timing of death is predecided, unless it is a death which has happened in an unnatural way, as like a murder, for example. So if the timing of death is predecided, the other which has to come Wouldn't it just be an excuse for it to happen at that particular time? And if we study deeply the concept of afterlife or the, the concept of soul, Atma, what is it that lives after we shed this bodily garment? Is this bodily garment really us? Who am I? If we go deeper into meditation and experience the vast expanded selves that we are, as we experientially discover our true nature, as we experience more and more the deeper reality of life, I feel that one is able to walk that path where one is able to let go of fear of maybe dying or our loved ones dying. If there is a elderly person who is unwell and approaching death, and yet we as the caregivers are so attached for that person to just live on and on, even if that person was suffering, I would say that the path of self growth would be to be able to let go from within. What would be the ideal, beautiful atmosphere for a person who is dying? Maybe being at home, surrounded by loved ones, in an atmosphere of care, affection, laughter, of connections. The caregivers, the relatives of those who are going through such phases in their life also really need to work towards releasing any anger, any resentments that they might be holding towards this person who is ready to pass on. Firstly, it becomes very difficult for the caregiver, for the relative, even to realize or to accept that this might be the case. And even to be able to see that, one would need to have a deeper connection to oneself. So, why not live a life of meditation and self reflection so that one knows oneself, so that one can know another, so that one can know what is happening. And from there will come the acceptance of the moment as it is. And the best possible care can be given as per the medicines, as per the medical care required. But the best possible care should also include an atmosphere of love and hope and acceptance, of joy. In many ancient cultures, when an elderly used to pass, it would be an event of celebration, of a life well lived, of a long life experienced here on earth with all its joys and sorrows. Look not at life ending with death with regret. Look at it as a life well lived. Look at it as an opportunity to let go. Look at it as an opportunity to come to acceptance of whatever that is. And I believe that whichever person we come across, we hear the news, or we are touched by the dying of that person, it surely has a message for us, an insight for us. And as we are able to embrace that insight, that message, we would be able to honor that person who has moved on, the soul that has moved on. So let us embrace this idea of death. Let us live every day in the best possible way, in the way that we would live if it were the last day of our lives. And so that whenever we have to move towards the process of transition from being in body to being a soul, that time will be able to make the transition very joyfully. Thank you, dear friends.